Peace, love, happy day. Shout outs to all the clients at Emotions Made Easy. Beautiful sessions on the way. Beautiful sessions happening. Shout outs to you for taking time to invest in yourself and to know yourself better through talk therapy. Shout outs to Fire Safety Made Easy. May we continue to sell these study guides to help you get to a better career coming from security or whatever the fuck you're coming from. Yeah. Let's get into it. Varsity Jacket's coming soon. I just released the EP. Enjoy that. It's on my YouTube, Spotify, all over. More music coming soon. My music heals you, genuinely, because I'm always happy. So, yeah, channel it. And I do listen to my own music, so it's whatever. Art, everything coming. Let's get into it. How can we learn to detach from the societal expectations and goals that often lead to instant gratification? By recognizing and questioning societal expectations, a lot of times we don't question what we think society expects of us. We tend to just go with the flow. We kind of forget that your spirit is being guided by you. Whatever you have learned in relevance to your environment, you are now becoming, until you say, hey, listen, I influence my spirit based on my habits and who I want to be. Because you never get who you want or what you want. You always get what you are. So let's start to recognize and question certain ideas that doesn't make any sense. If you're more focused on voting, but yet you don't have a personal connection to your son or your daughter, and voting in your mind is way more important than sitting down and actually understanding the children that are attached to your DNA, something's wrong, okay? Setting personal goals aligned with values. Practicing mindfulness to delay gratification. What I've been noticing, right, is that as I take time to understand that my spirit is the start. My spirit is constantly evolving and changing. There's no way for me to mentally reenact what my spirit is naturally creating. We need to understand and be mindful of what's happening, not what's going to happen. Look at Mother Nature. Remember my boy Ori had told me this, like recently, like just now. He had said, Mother Nature is happening no matter what, even if we don't see it. A lot of times, the reason why we don't see it is because we're so focused on voting, who's the next best rapper, shiny object syndrome. So now we're learning to understand that nature is constantly evolving. Spirit, Mother Nature, spirit is nature. So now we're starting to understand that we have to be mindful of the beautiful flowers growing. So now you attract the idea of seeing beautiful flowers growing. You can't attract what you're not on. Like I was telling my friend a while back, he was like, I had told him I went to a friend of mine's baby shower And he felt as though, wow, how come he didn't invite me? I'm a friend too. But I had told him, I said, listen, how come you didn't ask? He told me he shouldn't have to. And I thought to myself, and I think I told him, I believe I did, you can't expect or track what you're not on. If you're not open to acts, why would you attract, or why would it happen that he's open to inquire? He's currently having a baby, and that's a big, big change in his life. He didn't have time to focus on your insecurities in relevance to that. By the way, my friend, sometimes he's impulsive with his emotions, but he doesn't know because he's naturally an empath. So he processed this later on. I haven't spoken to him since, but he'll probably tell me something different. So you attract what you're on. So setting personal goals aligned with what you consider values, you have to know yourself. Are you a bank robber? Are you someone that's an ambivert, which is being an introvert and an extrovert at the same time, depending on the situation? Who are you? You can't have values if you don't understand who you are and what creates your value. Are you strong? Are you confident? Who are you trying to be? A lot of I ams can get you to that portal. Okay. How does slowing down physically allow us to better connect with our chaotic spirit? Physical slowness allows us to tune into our chaotic spirit, understand its nuances, and navigate it effectively without being overwhelmed. What I've been learning today is that when it comes to spirit, spirit is naturally chaotic. It is naturally active, impulsive, everywhere at once. How you mentally unpack that is solely up to you. So you can unlock the physical action. And the physical action looks slow. It doesn't look fast, impulsive, hyperactive, macho, egotistical. It looks like you in your simplest form. So one thing I've learned is that the universe is mental, and your mental your spirit doesn't really process anything negative. It can't be negative. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's like you physically see something, mentally unpack it, and your spirit just naturally balances it. It's the idea of starting at spirit first. You have to know how you feel so you can mentally unpack that. And then physical actions come from that mental unpacking. Remember, the spirit is your subconscious, right? So the more slower you are in the physical time, it kind of, as above, so below, the law of correspondence, it kind of keeps your spirit just in flow, because the spirit is moving fast. The physical is moving slow. The mental is neutralizing by understanding both spirit and physical. So now we have balance, and the Kabbalion calls that the law of neutralization, right? So understand that spirit is constantly changing, so there will always be new nuances. You have to move slow physically because spirit is a lot faster than your physical reality. Things materialize in divine timing all the time. So one thing that we need to understand is time is relative. when it comes to manifesting things from the spirit through the mental into the physical reality, right? Yeah. In what ways can we create a bridge between our spirit, mental, and physical selves? Creating a bridge involves self-awareness. Self-awareness is key. Careful observation is complete awareness. Observe a lot. Close your eyes and let your spirit be chaotic, and your mental will align things between physical and spirit. So the mental is you self-educating yourself, like I'm unpacking now. Mental's unpacking, right? So creating a bridge involves a lot of self-awareness. Sit with yourself, meditate, talk to yourself. I do voice notes to myself. Even inquire at Emotions Made Easy on my website. That's what the key to Emotions Made Easy is. Bringing you some type of self-awareness. So now you start to evolve on all planes. You start to understand yourself better. It's time that we change our self-education. You know, the Webster Dictionary was written by a self-taught professor, I believe. But that's it. All right. Involves self-awareness, understanding thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and aligning them to work harmoniously towards goals. It's a beautiful answer. In what ways can we create a bridge between our spirit, mental, and physical selves? Creating a bridge involves self-awareness, understanding thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and aligning them to work harmoniously towards goals. Like I'm about to order a retro vintage camcorder. And before I order this, I have to understand how much it costs. Why do I want it? Why do I need it? What's the purpose? Where am I going to ship it to? Because I don't like packages going to my home. I like them to come to my job because somebody's always here. It's all about unpacking and being self-aware of understanding thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and aligning them to work harmoniously towards your goals. So my goal is to be wealthy. And I have that goal because I'm naturally abundant. So being that I'm naturally abundant, there's certain things that I have to mentally unpack to create so my spirit can naturally create ideas of wealth. I'm very mindful of the progress I've made. So that's the biggest deal. You need to be mindful of the progress you've made and don't beat yourself up about it. Talk selectively to people that care and people that are going to reinforce the idea of empathy and belief and motivation and determination when trying to approach ideas of, for my situation, wealth, because I know I'm naturally abundant. So it's inevitable. Wealth is inevitable and it's constant. That's the thing about spirit. Spirit is chaotic. So wealth is not really a specific number since I'm abundant. It's just constant manifestations of wealth. I received this, I received that, blah, blah, blah. You know, you got to understand, to receive what you want, you have to unpack who you are. And who you are is your spirit. You understand what I'm saying? To receive what you want, you have to unpack who you are. So your spirit can manifest that. Yeah. So let's go to question number 4. How can asserting our boundaries with love and understanding prevent escalating situations to violence? Asserting boundaries with love and understanding establishes mutual respect, diffuses tension, and fosters peaceful conflict resolution. One thing I know, right, when it comes to being real about your boundaries, it starts with you being real with yourself. That's what it starts with. The more real you are with who you are as you, because you never get what you want. You always get what you are, right? So the more real you are with you is the better things are when it comes to setting boundaries with others. Asserting boundaries with love and understanding establishes mutual respect. Listen, a lot of us approach hot-headed. We look at the idea of, it's like we have this subconscious aspect of entitlement when dealing with people and boundaries. I call it toxic positivity. So it's like, hey, fuck out of here, man. Respect my boundaries, bitch. It's like you're just gonna get what you're giving. So your goal is to approach with love, and you can't approach with understanding if you're not empathetic or loving. The whole approach with love is how you get to understanding. And it does establish a mutual respect, because I feel like approaching with love and understanding, first, you start off hot, but you don't end hot. You work through that trigger. Hey, listen, I didn't like how you ate the Cheerios and left them next to the ice cream. I don't know what the fuck that means. But it's the idea that you start off with your boundary. What's the cause? Hey, listen, blase, blah, etc. Take a deep breath, maintain your composure, and breathe. Before you even approach holding somebody accountable for what they did to you, you need to hold yourself accountable for what you did to you. Understand your you do, right? Because you can, but you can't focus on being mad at somebody or someone for doing something that you naturally do. That makes it harder to complete the understanding, because now you approach and you're automatically defensive because you feel entitled to holding somebody accountable because you noticed it. But you have to notice it in you first. When you start noticing it in you, you'll start to speak from a loving place, because you got to understand self-awareness and self-care and self-love. So the more you understand that, is the better you can approach, and that's what creates the mutual respect. Diffuses tension. A lot of times we walk in hot and we maintain that heat, not understanding that mental telepathy is you're going to receive what you're broadcasting. You have to understand this. Anything that you see in others is in you. So you want to diffuse the tension so you can get your point across, and so their point can be heard. Listen, there's two parts of truth: absolute and relative. The more you understand that absolute is internal truth, and the more you understand that relative is external truths outside your internal, things become a lot more easier. And I think you should only participate in relevance to understanding both sides, human and spirit, and using your mental to filter that understanding in relevance to you diffusing the tension with yourself first. You walk over trying to diffuse tension with someone else, and you haven't done it in your personal or your shadow work, it's not going to be nice. and fosters peaceful conflict resolution. So peaceful conflict resolution, I feel like I have a song where I'm like, it's on my new EP, right? Where I'm like, I forgot what I said, but I said something about conflict resolution. Everybody loves conflict, but nobody loves to resolve it. You can't have conflict without a resolution. You can't have problems without solutions. It is best that we learn how to foster peaceful conflict resolution by doing it with us first. That's the thing. That's how I got better at being in my relationship. I got to understanding that if whatever that I want, I have to give. Shout outs to the way of a superior man. Whatever I want, I have to give. So if you wanting something, but you're not giving, remember, you never get what you want, you get what you are. Wants have a lot to do with human things. Who you are has a lot to do with your spirit, your subconscious. And then you self-educate yourself mentally so you can kind of level out these planes. But in order to approach conflict, you have to find the conflict in you and then find the resolution in you. Yeah. Why is it important to communicate effectively without resorting to yelling or antagonizing? Effective communication without aggression. Notice what they said. We're saying without aggression. A lot of people don't understand the difference between being assertive and being aggressive. My lady respects me because I'm assertive. I am not aggressive. When it comes to handling things, I'm not only aware of the conflict, but I'm aware of I would love to find a resolution subconsciously. Spirit is the resolution. And in the physical realm, that's the conflict. You understand what I'm saying? Because spirit can't process negative. So anything negative is human. That's why you give that to the spirit, and then spirit filters things through the mental, through what you know. Promotes understanding. No aggression promotes understanding. Nobody gives a fuck about an aggressive person. Listen, a dog, right? That's why a lot of people don't like pit bulls. A dog, he lives his life through being emotionally connected to his owner or her owner. Notice that all the aggressive dogs, those are the ones you see in the shelter, speculating, just for my point, right? You have to understand that even a dog, even a pet, he lives and maintains his life from being genuine and being loving, because nobody wants an aggressive dog. And if you have an aggressive dog, you're an aggressive person, right? Maybe, I don't fucking know. To those of you that's not, you matter, right? But aggression is not the way. It doesn't promote understanding. It promotes war. So builds trust. When you don't walk in with aggression, you build trust. I've done this many times. I've pressed people, and when I say press, I was assertive about what they were doing in relevance to questioning it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I was on a train with my lady, and a guy got on and he sat next to her. So me and my lady were conversing. It's an Asian guy with a beautiful brown coat next to his lady, right? Glasses, trying to paint you the picture. I think he's wearing New Balances. He crosses his leg, right? But the way the bottom of his foot is out, he could potentially hit my lady. Not saying that he did. So I'm watching. I asked her if she was comfortable. But then I realized that she had to adjust herself so she didn't hit his leg, the bottom of his foot, because nobody wants footprints on their pants. So I just genuinely asked him. I said, why does she have to maneuver different just because you want to put your foot there? He immediately moved it. I said, hey, also, nice fucking brown jacket. The idea is this: you want to start off with the conflict, but you always want to lean towards the resolution. The goal is not to criticize him and judge him, because I'm pretty sure I've been in spaces where I've done things that were comfortable to me and other people may have felt uncomfortable. It's just the way of life. It's just balance. You may do comfortable things. It comes with uncomfortability. It's just balance. So I was able to, in that situation, because it's situational, I was able to approach that with a question, and it built trust. He said, thank you, and got off, have fun, and encourages productive dialogue. So when you don't walk in with aggression, you promote understanding, builds trust, and encourages productive dialogue. That's the whole goal. Learn communication. The goal is not to be the strongest yeller or to antagonize people. That's not what it's about. Nobody likes an antagonist. That's why movies always float in the direction for the protagonist. Agent Smith, Neo lean towards becoming better by facing the antagonist. Face the antagonism. Self-reflect. Be self-aware and practice reflection with self-care. Take a deep breath. It's the law of rhythm. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Allow these things to pass as you look at them. I was staring at the guy's foot for a while as I spoke to my lady, and then spirit just brought that. It brought the idea of what to say genuinely, because I don't prepare these things. It's magical. It's like my raps. I don't write them. All right. How does masculinity play a role in resolving conflicts without violence? Masculinity in conflict resolution entails strength through calmness, compassion, and assertiveness to address issues without resorting to violence. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, right? Shout out to my boy Jamal. He's doing amazing, and I'm proud of you. Keep going up, bro. And he had said that he had a situation on the train, and a guy ended up pulling out a knife in his defense on another guy, when in actuality, the origin of this situation started with Jamal asking bro, hey, listen, I see you eating, but I don't want it to fall on me. Can you give me some space? And the way he handled it was dope. He took out the headphones, and the guy said, well, I see you taking out your headphones for? Jamal said, I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to see what's going on. And that's how gods approach it. GAWDS. God's achieving wholehearted dreams. We approach things from a calm, sound, compassionate, and assertive way without resorting to violence. You got to understand, violence comes from pessimism, negative thinking. Let's break down pessimism. Where does pessimism come from? It comes from our ancestors. It's the idea of, there was a man. Let's go with a lady. No, let's do an animal. There was a fox, right? He gave birth to 3 other foxes. No, 4. Each year he had a kid with his lady, right? They bought a Fxck, shit like that, right? Now, in the 5th year, each year he told his kids, hey, listen, don't go down that dead end. There's just a bear savagely ate 5 of us. That's his family members, right? So each year, each kid doesn't go, right? But on the 5th year, The fifth kid is like, well, Dad, when did this happen? It happened 5 years ago, and there hasn't been no attacks in those 5 years. It seems like Dad and Mom, the Fox, that was a real traumatic experience to them. So they kept repeating. They never unpacked it. That's the thing about pessimism. Pessimism is used for hunting and gathering. So you're really relaying information in relevance to trauma. So, but you're not being aware that in 5 years, no bears have eaten foxes. So here's the idea. We have to learn that pessimism is not the answer. And then that'll take you out of that violent idea, because people are very impulsive where they think that fighting and physical, learn to spar mentally, because your spirit, it can't process negative. Only the human side of you can, the physical side. So you got to sit down and meditate, silence the chatter between all three realms, breathe, be calm, be sound. I've never had to fight a man a day in my life. Never. I was always a thinker. I understood that because of who I am and the respect and the happiness and the genuineness that I subconsciously give to myself, thus me giving it to people, I never had a situation where I had to fight anybody violently. Honestly speaking, I never believed in violence. And me and my lady have made it far from that space of thinking that we had to be abusive and domestic. Shout out to my lady. Beautiful baby on the way. Beautiful dog too. Beautiful me. Beautiful us. So, and shout outs to you guys getting past that curb in relevance to fighting each other spiritually, because that's what it's about. You're fighting each other spiritually, and you're not understanding how it's affecting your mental and your physical, right? Now, so masculinity is calmness, compassion, and assertiveness. Know yourself. Know how to address issues without resorting to violence. What role does empathy, love, peace, forgiveness, and acceptance play in rational decision-making? Empathy, love, peace, forgiveness, and acceptance contribute to rational decisions by considering diverse perspectives, fostering understanding, and promoting harmony. You always want to vibrate from the higher vibrations. If you look at the consciousness level chart, you'll realize that love, empathy, peace, forgiveness, and acceptance is at the top. When it comes to the survival paradigm, reason and integrity paradigm, and the spiritual paradigm, you always want to be raising your vibrations from the survival to the spiritual till you fully become the spirit. You understand what I'm saying? So try your best to be peaceful, forgiving to yourself. Show some love and empathy to yourself, because if you're having a hard time doing this to others, it's because you're having a hard time doing it to you. It's mental telepathy. How can we ensure that our mental and spiritual filters guide us toward rational rather than irrational thoughts and actions? By practicing mindfulness, start to meditate more. Sit with yourself and allow your brain to go chaotic. That's what meditation is. Self-reflection. Take a look at yourself. Take a look at my, what am I talking about? That sounds like a song. Take a look at yourself and take a look at who you're being. Take a look at your behaviors. How are you acting to yourself? Question yourself. And emotional regulation. Understand emotional intelligence. I'll do a video on that when I can. Emotional awareness. Understand how your emotion needs to be regulated based on the situation. Be aware. We can filter out irrational thoughts and actions, allowing rationality to prevail. Be mindful, self-reflect, and understand how to regulate your emotion. If you're having hyperactive thoughts, it's because you're trying to manifest what's happening here into the physical realm, and you don't control certain things in the physical realm. You only control how you respond, so change that. What steps can we take to cultivate a sense of genuine communication in our interactions with others? Genuine communication is nurtured through active listening, empathy, vulnerability, and authenticity in interactions with others. Genuine communication is nurtured through active listening. A lot of times we don't listen actively. I'm guilty of it, and I'm still pushing forward and evolving. So it's okay, right? A lot of us start off, because it's never who, it's where you are. A lot of us start off listening to respond. So your brain is already moving as you're hearing somebody speak. Maybe that's happening now. You're hearing somebody speak, and you're feeling all this energy, and now you just want to speak. You didn't hear, you're just speaking, right? So watch out for that. Empathy, vulnerability, learn to be vulnerable. A lot of you guys are not vulnerable. You think that's a privilege, and you can only be vulnerable with people you trust. So be selective of who you fuck with, because honestly speaking, if you don't trust the people around you, it's going to be hard for you to be vulnerable. And authenticity in interactions with others. Please stop faking your edge. People don't trust you that way. Lean into your fears. If you act as though you're top notch, listen, I'm not always positive, but then again, I am. But I'm open to both poles. You need to understand how to be yourself on all planes, spiritual, mental, and physical. The idea is this: mindfulness, self-reflection, self-awareness, and meditation, right? So you can be more authentic. Affirm, start to change who you are. The self-reflection and mindfulness is the key to changing the person you've became, who you may have learned to be based on osmosis when you were a kid. Because this is all childhood trauma if you're going through it. So it's okay. It's not your fault. You didn't ask to be fucked into this universe. It's okay. How can we continue to evolve and grow as individuals by exploring and unpacking our feelings and experiences in a deeper way? I love unpacking. It's my thing. That's why I rap. Even with my clothing, I unpack my ideas. I have to. It's how you pay yourself. Nobody pays you. Shout outs to Nero. You pay yourself. Any money that you've received is because you will that. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if you don't have any money, that means that you don't have the will to create the way, right? Continuous exploration. Continuous self-exploration. How can we continue to evolve and grow as individuals by exploring and unpacking our feelings and experience in a deeper way? Keep exploring yourself. Keep fucking up. Keep making mistakes. People love to criticize you when you make mistakes because they're criticized when they make mistakes, or they criticize themselves. Don't be fooled. Introspection. Talk to yourself. Sit with yourself. Have fun. I voice note myself. I talk to my lady about myself. She tells me back about me. We talk about each other. That's how we do. We do a lot of gossiping about us, right? And others too. You know how that goes. Love my lady. Love you, babe. Mwah. But yeah, introspection. Look into yourself. And openness to vulnerability aid in deepening understanding. Listen, if your friends, you can't speak to them and be authentic with them, they're not your friends. You might be trauma bonding, so be careful. Healing wounds. Unpack your thoughts. Understand them, not more so your thoughts. Pay attention to the facts. A lot of times we get caught up in a lot of information and you don't separate the unimportant from the important. 16 Lessons of Success by Napoleon Hill. Separate the facts from the fiction, all right? And that's how you got to start knowing yourself. You got to do more introspection, more self-reflection, and self-exploration. And facilitating personal growth and evolution. Be aware of your growth and your evolution. Get a journal. Take time to understand that even though nature has natural disasters, there's still a forest fire. And after that forest fire, there's stuff that's blossoming. If you don't realize what's blossoming, that's up to you. Then what are you attracting? That's an internal issue you might have to speak to yourself based on introspection and self-reflection. But things are blossoming. So take your time, love yourself, and start to understand how to unpack mindfully, carefully, lovingly, and be patient with yourself. Change is inevitable. The Kabbalion. The universe is mental. Know yourself. Believe in you. I believe in you. It's time for you to be open to chaos and allow spirit to magically structure it. And stop hesitating on doing what you feel. If you're hesitating, you need to question the source and the concept of who you are as a person. Spirit is naturally empathetic. It's all good. Much love, much peace. You're gonna make it because you've made it so many times before. You just needed to be reminded. Fuck yeah.